when Rafi and I put this program together, we decided that we would start with, come on right up, have a seat. We decided that we would start by telling, since this is a school for venture capitalists and bringing together, we hope, ideas and innovation, we thought we would start with some successful startup stories. Each of these people that we'll be introducing shortly are successful startups in their own right, and we're just delighted here. And this is just to encourage a lot of the young a lot of the startups that are in this room to say, don't give up. People started with some ideas and energy, and they went out, got the capital from their friends, their families, and ultimately from larger capital sources, and they are all in their own way in different sectors very, very successful. I want to start off by introducing our first guest, and that is Loudon Owen, who's a managing partner of McLean Watson. All their biographies you'll find on the web, but I just want to tell you a few things about Loudon. Over the past 15 years, Owen has launched and invested and operated some of Canada's fastest growing companies. He's a co-founder and managing partner of McLean Watson, one of Canada's venture capital firms. His expertise spans company building and monetizing intellectual property, which is the essence of this particular program today. His role is chairman of I41, which recently won a $300 million patent infringement and obtained an injunction against that little company called, I don't know, it was started by some guy that never went to college. What was his name? Bill Gates, Microsoft. And Owen took on Microsoft and was very successful in launching it. He's a hockey player. He's worked on construction. He's been a traveling salesman. He finished an undergraduate studies at U of T and law at Osgoode Hall. He's practiced commercial and corporate securities and obtained his MBA from INSEAD and Fontainebleau. In a word, he's a star, and he has offices today not only in Toronto but Shanghai and Singapore. So our first speaker is Mr. Owen to tell us his success story. You can sit or talk. Do you want to do it here? Or how
it's easier here. I've got it.
Go ahead.
Good morning, and thank you very much. I have a presentation here. I'm astonished at the CV. I can't remember most of those things. I'll have to read it again at some point. But let me talk very quickly about the story. And I think stories, particularly if they're true, can be very helpful, and they can be signs going forward and hopefully get people somewhat inspired. And how do I click the next slide? Do I just do thumbs up? Next slide, please. So I'm going to go very quickly through the first 152 years here. McLean Watson was originally a trading company, and it was a family trading company based in Indonesia. And trading and venture capital really aren't that distinct. People have dignified the process of venture capital by putting all sorts of formalities around it and describing it as a separate area. But really, you're taking what you have, typically capital or resources, and you're exchanging it for something. And hopefully in today's world, it'll be something that has inherent intellectual property, something you can protect, and then you're trying to make a profit. So with a school friend from Upper Canada College with John Eckert, we founded McLean Watson and decided we'd go into the venture capital business, have done so, and have been operating in Toronto and, as Jerry said, in Asia over the past 15 years. We have offices in Shanghai and Singapore and have been quite active in going back and forth. Air Canada is one of our best friends, and we get plenty of Christmas cards from them. Next slide, please. So again, venture capital and people who want to make a profit go where the opportunities are, and they have been doing that for a long time. So I really don't think, in many respects, the spirit of entrepreneurship that we're talking about here today is that different to what's happened years and years gone by. Whether you hop on a ship and go to Indonesia and discover jute and bring it back to Europe and sell it, or whether you find intellectual property in the best location, it's the same mentality. And what I think is quite fascinating is I don't have to live in Canada. My family didn't come from Canada. We came here because we thought it was a wonderful country and had wonderful opportunities, and it does. I'm not here because I need to be. I'm here because I still think there are extraordinary opportunities. And every time I drive down to work, I'm driving down university, and quite often you get jammed up at the stoplights at college right here. It's actually very interesting because you look to the left and you see MaRS, you look to the right and you see U of T, and then you see this morass of people crossing over, young kids from all over the world going to U of T. and they are working their backsides off, and they're there until midnight, and they're here to try and build a better future. So I do think, notwithstanding all of the concerns, all of the issues, all of the things that have to be addressed, Canada has tremendous opportunities, fabulous people, and I completely believe that ongoing immigration is going to be an absolutely, it's going to turbocharge this economy going forward. Next slide, please. So what we've done at McLean Watson is something pretty simple. We've just tried to be number one. And you can't be number one in everything. We tried to pick a few things. And we've been very fortunate to have some companies that have succeeded. They've all had tremendous people associated with them. None of them have simply been a raw idea that floats down from the sky and lands on the ground. So we did have the privilege of being the first Quebec company to do an IPO on NASDAQ, for example. And in some ways, it wasn't a company. It was, at the time, 60 young people in black T-shirts who decided they were going to try and revolutionize the world of animation, and they did. And today, the spin-offs from Softimage, it's probably 2,000 to 3,000 employees in Montreal that have spun off from different companies. Interesting question, actually, about potash, because my answer on the potash side, not to the question as to whether or not it should or shouldn't happen, is that there is a tremendous amount of innovation in Canada surrounding natural resources, and we've been investing in that area. And there's a lot of magnificent technology that can dramatically enhance the exploration process and, of course, the production end. We know a lot about it. I'm astonished there aren't more venture capitalists investing in the area, but we do. And there are a host of other things where we've been trying to be innovators, but the goal with our companies and the goal when we pick a spot is try and be number one worldwide, not just in Toronto, not just in Ontario, worldwide. Could I have the next one, please? So a couple of the companies, I'm sure everybody here will be very, very appreciative that Flow Network was really the company that helped to invent email direct mail. And early on, we had 1 billion direct mails we were sending a day, so all those emails in your inbox, you're welcome. We've had a number of companies that are used in the industrial space. You don't know about them. You don't know the names of the companies, but they do things that are very important to you. Skywave, for example, is the leader globally in conjunction with Inmarsat. Inmarsat runs all the satellites, the big birds up in the sky. And we track assets around the world. We started out in the non-civilian area, but now we're in the civilian area as well. And we help make sure that what you own gets where it's supposed to get to and doesn't disappear along the way. I'll talk a little bit about CTL immunotherapies because it's also a story. It was an inventor in Switzerland, and his name was Rolf Zinkernagel. An extraordinary scientist. He won the Nobel Prize in 1996. But Rolf didn't raise money in Switzerland, surprisingly. He raised money in Toronto with us. And we happened to meet Rolf through another gentleman, John Simard, who went to U of T, and co-founded a company called CTL. CTL grew, and it ended up being a Swiss scientist with a Canadian friend of the Swiss scientist, with an American investor who came in ultimately called Al Mann, who's very well known in this field. And today it's a public company. It's grown very dramatically. But Toronto and Canada also serve as a hub. A lot of people come here. They like coming here. It's a place where there's excellence at every level, including in academics. And I think it will continue for a long time to be a hub and a very attractive hub for investing. Can I have the next one, please? That's Skywave. It's a little picture showing a globe and how we track things around the world. We'll skip that, please. Bel Air. Very exciting company. We've co-invested with a whole range of other venture capitalists based in Ottawa. And I think when you're zipping around in New York City and you're trying to figure out where the opera is and when it's starting, you're going to have to get access to that wonderful network out there. And you're going to be using Bel Air technology. Bel Air is a relatively quiet company based in Ottawa. It's a world leader in what it does. The next one, please. And having anticipated the question about potash, I thought I'd put up a slide about one of our companies, which is called Quantech. And Quantech is the #1 company in the world for ground geophysics. That's really just differential conductivity. So when you're trying to find something under the ground, it's nice to have a clue where to look and where not to look. And that's otherwise drilling is too expensive, it's prohibitive, and it's not economic. Quantech has been in business 22 years. It's based here in Toronto. The company has operated in every continent on the planet, including Antarctica. No one here has probably ever heard of it. Our clients using our proprietary technology over the past 10 years have found about $150 billion of what's called contained metal. So it's not NPV 150 billion, but it's probably about 10 to 20% of that. So very substantial, innovative company based in Toronto, leveraging what we know, delivering a service and a product that people need with success. Go to the next one, please. So just a couple of things I've learned. The first one, and the most important one, I think, is it's all about people.
Right on.
Just all about people. There's nothing else. And no matter what happens, when you look at a company, you're trying to figure out if you're going to part with your hard-earned capital. Ideas are great. I think opportunities are better, by the way. And we draw a distinction between the idea and the opportunity, but it's just all about the people. So our mentality and our practice is to take a very active role in the companies, to try and harmonize all the competing factors here, to try and balance a little bit the urgency, go, go, go. Everybody wants to get it done tomorrow, but a bit of patience, because sometimes the markets just aren't there. And quite often people forget about venture capital portfolios. They wake up 15 years later and they're worth something. You have to try and balance the two. I probably sound very Canadian at this point. Also, the whole issue of kind of energy and youth and a vigorous, fresh look at everything and maturity, and understanding that if you don't deliver to your customers on a consistent basis, they're not going to come back. But the one thing that really strikes me is there are a lot of ideas out there, and everybody in the room has hundreds of ideas, thousands of ideas every day about how to make money, how to make something grow from something very small into something big. We all have them. But the real key for a venture capitalist and the discipline and what's hard is you have to focus on the opportunity. And one way of explaining that simply is that digging gold out of the ground is not a brilliant idea, but it can be a tremendous opportunity. So I think I'll explain in a second where I think there is an opportunity globally, and also where Canadians can be leader, and I'll tell you the story of Eye for Eye very quickly. Have the next one, please. That's Eye for Eye. It doesn't mean EYE for EYE. It stands for Infrastructures for Information. It's one of the worst marketing companies in history, I think. But just coincidentally, when the name got shrunk down, it actually ended up being quite interesting. Can I have the next one? People. It's all about people. So Michael Volpe went to U of T, just across the road. He's the co-inventor of a patent, which we refer to as the 449 patent, and a tremendously driven, gifted, imaginative human being. At the same time, I got to know Michael in a coffee shop up on Bloor Street, and we shook hands on a transaction, and he got a much better offer later on, but he adhered to the deal. And I promised him, I looked him in the eye and said, I'll do whatever I can to make this company successful. So in 1994, Eye for Eye filed for a patent, and that's not actually the patent, of course. That's just a little image lifted. It was a stage in the XML industry, and the LXML really wasn't around. It was SGML at the time, and it was an era of tweed jackets and blackboards. And you easily could have fit the entire industry into a very small corner of this room. It really was a small group of people, academics and evangelists. And what's interesting about patents and intellectual property, it's an uncorrelated asset. So it doesn't matter to us, in one sense, if the market is bouncing up and down, which it does. It's an uncorrelated asset. It has its own value, irrespective of market dynamics and movements. Okay, the next slide. So we had a tremendous start with Eye for Eye. The future looked really bright, and we were very intrigued by what we thought we could do with the product. It was a way of dramatically changing the way information is managed and structuring unstructured data.